It was 5 a.m. on on a Sunday morning, and I was playing, and suddenly I got alarmed by a few screams and shout. I look out throughout the window, and I see 3 or 4 policemen with batons beating and punching to some women. A few bystanders stood by doing nothing. No one seemed to care. I was 6 years old, and that was my first encounter with transgender violence. Little did I know back then how much I will reflect on those women as time go by and I grew up and I find out who I really was. Fast forward to 2012, 5 trans women were found dead in the streets of my city. This was the spark that made me want to do something and not to be like those bystanders. I joined others in the seeking for justice because I wouldn't be a bystander, and also I think that that is not the way any transgender women should end her days. According to research, the life expectancy for trans women in my country is 35 years. So being 40 and being trans in my country is like being a grandma. Sorry for my oldest friend, but there are a few. You see, violence hits women and female identities because that is how patriarchy works. And that's why I also consider myself a trans feminist activist. Sometimes I like to say that being a transgender woman is like being born with a lottery ticket in your hand, and then one day throwing it away. In 2015, our National Council for Sexual Diversity has been had its hand full drafting a new law aiming for the access to education, health, and work for transgender people, and also to make easier to access to the name change that has been around for 6 years now. Also, this law includes reparation pension for those women who were institutionally violent in a recent past. We advocated with other civil society organizations 24/7, trying to fight against the most religious and conservative parties of my country that were against this law. To raise funds to continue with this campaign, we have these handkerchiefs that today some of these people from Building Bridge is using, and I feel really proud. And those who identificate with the cause and support it, use it in my country to identify. Well, I must say that at the end, the law was passed last year in October. So I would like to, if you can give an applause, because this law was finally passed. Thank you. We had been through a lot during this process. We have received a lot of backlash, but also a lot of support, and that is what I consider most important, and that is what has given me the strength and also the hope for the future. I think we are building a new history out of the violence from the past. We have been working in the recent months to oppose a pre-referendum that jeopardizes the existence of this law. The referendum, the pre-referendum, will take place in 2 days' time in my country this next Sunday. So for me, being here in Amsterdam is also really important. Because Uruguay is a small country with an even smaller trans population. So, one less person in my country makes a difference. Anyway, I know we have not been fighting in vain, so this year national elections will be taking place in my country also. And I think some have used our identities to put themselves politically with discourse based on lies and also disturbing reality. Finally, I would like to say that I'm happy to be here in Amsterdam and being the voice that speaks for our reality. We need to invite others to join our fight and not just to be bystanders. We need to believe that a better future is coming for us and that we must never return to that pain from the past. Finally, I would like to close my history with a quote that Latin American trans women always tell. That is, our revenge will be to get old. Thank you very much.